all these tariffs and stuff like this. This reminds me of COVID all over again, where they're just doing one-sided reporting. They're speaking to politicians. They're speaking to Canadians who are all pro-Canada, and they're all for, staying in Canada and shopping in Canada. And in some points, I do agree. I get it. I understand. But then they are kind of trying to convince people by having their one-sided reporting to, hey, how about if you just cancel that vacation to California, to Disney World, to Las Vegas, and stay in Canada? Why don't you do that? And I find that appalling, and I just find it ridiculous that people are falling for this absolute garbage. You're telling me that you are going to change your travel plans. You're going to stay in Canada where it rains, in particular in British Columbia, Vancouver area. It rains a lot of the time. And you're going to cancel your destination vacations to sunny destinations like Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Florida, wherever it is. All these different places that, have long been Canadian destinations to travel in the colder months. And even in March here in Vancouver, it's not that great. So they're trying to convince people to not go to Las Vegas and stuff like that. So let's just play this little clip here. So in this clip, Sky News reporter is going to be interviewing David Eby, the Premier of British Columbia. And then they start interviewing random Canadians. Of course, it's all one-sided reporting, like I stated, making it seem like all the Canadians are on board with everything's going on and how we're going to retaliate, this and that. I'm not going to retaliate. I'm going to be going on my trip to Las Vegas because, well, I want some sun. And I should be able to spend my money where I want. And if you're so angry about Trump, where were you when the carbon tax was implemented? Where are you when all of these taxes are destroying our lives? Where are you? But now you think somehow by canceling your trip to Las Vegas or other sunny destinations in the United States, somehow you're helping? You're a sucker. You're a fool. You're ridiculous. You're not helping anyone. All you're doing is ruining your own life. Now you can't bring your daughter and your son to Disneyland because you want to retaliate against Trump. Trump doesn't give a fuck about you, and he thinks that you're a joke for doing this. And I don't even like what Trump's doing. I don't like these tariffs, but I'm not going to put my life on hold like we did during COVID, and we couldn't leave the country. Now people are voluntarily stopping themselves from leaving the country because they think that somehow this is going to help the situation with the tariffs. You guys are clowns. You're ridiculous, and you make absolutely no sense. Once again, brainwashed by propaganda, thinking that somehow you are Canadian now. No, you're not Canadian. You're a joke. Anyways, let's play this. Hilarious.
To people, British Columbians today, yesterday, they're genuinely fearful of annexation. Do you think that's a possibility, and are you scared?
So I find it deeply unsettling. The advice that we get continually about the president is to take him seriously, but not literally.
Okay, a couple things. They're deeply scared about annexation. Now, if you look at the big picture, what's the problem if we actually were the 51st state? I know your Canadian pride, whatever the hell that means, gets in the way of your thinking. You've clouded judgment. From a personal standpoint, not from a Canadian, pride perspective, but personally, don't you think you'd be financially better off if you were part of the United States? Products would be cheaper. Housing, you'd be able to move anywhere in the United States where it's cheaper. Possibly housing here in Vancouver would become cheaper. Things would become more affordable. They don't have any taxes on overtime. He's talking about abolishing the IRS. If we were actually part of the United States, that means that you would not have any more income tax if this is actually going to happen. Is this a bad thing or is this a good thing? I know you got your pride that stands in the way of you thinking clearly, but logically, from a financial perspective, it makes perfect sense to me. Other people, I guess, they just like getting screwed in the culo, and they don't mind destroying their lives because of some kind of Canadian pride.
Have that kind of luxury. And the danger, I think, is not taking him literally and seriously.
What do you think the end game of all this is?
Just to cause chaos, that's what I think. So yeah, not too thrilled about it, but it's kind of galvanized Canadians together. So.
To Las Vegas, we've canceled that, and we're going to solve Spring Island. When I go to the grocery store, I look for the Canadian, the little maple leaf that a lot of grocery stores have put on the shelves. So, try and purchase Canadian items or Mexican items, anything other than the United States.
You think his main aim is to make you weaker?
Without a doubt. Yeah, that was his game plan from the beginning. So it had nothing to do with fentanyl going into the United States. That was just a ruse.
While I do agree with some of the reporting, the lady who's going to cancel her trip to Las Vegas, what are you thinking? Like, no one cares about you. All you're doing is you're wasting your time, and you're basically ruining your own life. You're ruining your own personal experiences. Now you're going to stay in Salt Spring Island, where it's probably going to rain, instead of being in sunny Las Vegas, Nevada, where it's going to be probably 21, 22 degrees Celsius this weekend. Who's winning? Trump's actually winning, because you're a jackass and you're going to change your travel vacation, your travel plans based on tariffs. And a lot of people don't even know what the hell's getting tariffed. And most of the tariffs aren't going to be affecting most people personally. And if you see an American product, yeah, don't buy it. Big deal. But to change travel plans, cuckoo, you got some sick mental illness issues. These are the same people that are jabbed up, the same people who wore the muzzles for 3 years, the same people who didn't mind that we were locked in our country and we couldn't leave. We couldn't go to the United States for a couple of years, but no one complained about that because you can't think for yourself. You're insane. You got a lot of mental issues. Clownadians, not Canadians. There's a portion of Canadians that are clowns, and I call those people Clownadians. Ridiculous. Grow up, get some common sense, and think for yourself and think about your own personal life. The government of Canada doesn't give two shits about you.